Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this terrific Monday. This is video 3 of potentially 4. Starting to feel a little bit more human, so the live is more than likely going to go ahead unless I take a nosedive into Sneezeville. But anyway, a lot of you have reached out, both British and from overseas, talking about the state of Great Britain. Can you call it great anymore? I'm not so sure. But yeah, the state of Britain since Labour came into our government at the helm not that long ago. And I thought, do you know what? What do? Do I risk prison? Because what it basically is at the moment is that it's being made illegal to complain. That seems to be the point. You can't complain, because if you complain, then what they'll do, they'll remove someone from the prison system who's committed a crime and put you in place of them. Anyway, that's how it is. That's the realism of it. And look, I don't condone violence. I've said this before. I don't condone violence, and people who resort to violence to try and prove some random thought that they've conjured up in their spanhead brain. I just don't have time for that. You know, when you go into the realms of violence or the incitement of violence, then yeah, fuck yourself. I hope you end up locked up and have lots of fun times in the shower with Big Barry Beefcake. But look, we can't ignore the issues in the UK. And there's a massive amount of issues. And when we're now getting to the point where it seems that you can't complain about it, are we heading towards this kind of draconian way of living where, you know, with a film like, what was it, with Wesley Snipes when he got his head frozen and booted off by Sylvester Stallone? I can't remember what it was called. It will come to me. Let me know down below if you remember. I might remember by the end of the video. But he gets his head booted off at the end. And it's like, there's so many things that are illegal. Like, it's illegal to swear. Physical contact is illegal. You have to put that stupid hat on, and they show like random images in your head to replace normal intercourse. And it's, you laugh, but it's like you're heading in that direction. You know, they're trying to ban smoking in public places, which ultimately is just power. It's they want to control people. We don't really have to do this, but we're going to do it because we can do it. And that seems to be the point of this government. And you have to now try to ascertain whether this is about an abuse of power. You're now in a position where you can do specific things, and it's not necessarily morally right to do them, but you just do them because you can. You can imprison people for posting stuff online, for saying stuff they might not even truly believe. That it could be someone who's drunk. They have a few beers and they sit in front of the laptop and they see something that, you know, upsets them, makes them angry, and they post something, and next thing you know, you're in prison in the aforementioned shower. And it's a scary time in Britain, because I think the issue is the vast majority of the working class people are pissed off. They're real angry. And for those of you who are familiar to the UK, you'll know what I'm about to say is true. And for those of you who are outside of the UK, you'll either know this to be true, or you'll be like, what in the actual fuck is that true? And that is, look, we as British people, and this isn't a limitation to, this is only what happened to it. This is something that happens to us. So a working person goes out and earns some money, right? And they will get around, let's say, ballpark figure, 30% of that taken off them. Sometimes it's more than that. And with other things, which we'll see in a second, it eats into it. So you get paid 100%, but 30% of that goes taken away as income tax. Okay. So the government gets that. Then, so you're left with 70% of your money, 70%. But everything you buy with that 70% is taxed again at 20%, value added tax. So your 70% goes down to 50%. So you go out and work, and some people are working multiple jobs just to pay the bills because their salary no longer covers everything. You know, rent in the UK for a little, depending on where you are, obviously, but as a ballpark figure for a 3-bed house in a relatively okay area could set you back 1,400 pounds. Okay. But then with the 50% that you've got left of your money from the 30% income tax, 20% value added tax, you've got council tax, which you have to pay. So on top of your rent, you have to pay council tax, which, dependent on where you are and the size of your property, that could be anything upwards of 150, 200, 300 pound plus per calendar month out of that 50% you've got left. Your fuel and fuel tax, there's so many things that you are forced to have to pay for. TV license, you have to have a TV license in the UK if you watch TV. And I know what people are saying, what? An actual TV license, that is a thing. Which, again, it's not a massive amount of money, but when you're already losing so much, and we're talking about people who are working multiple jobs just to keep their head above water, you can see why people are getting pissed off. Because then what is happening? If they have children, the things that their children need are also creeping up and up and up in price, like secondary school and some primary schools where they're saying you must have this uniform, and it must be a uniform, a uniform that carries the emblem of the school. So it could be a £45 blazer when in reality the blazer's worth about 15 quid. So people are getting ripped off left, right, and centre. But then they're seeing, on the other hand, so many people who have not got the working commitment that the working class have, and seemingly having a better time of it. Seemingly having a much better time of it. And there has been situations where I've spoken to people who have literally been of a mindset, there's no point in me working because I would have less. How can we live in a society where you can work your absolute bollocks off and not be able to afford to live? How is that a thing? You literally cannot afford to pay your bills, to do anything beyond going out of the door in the morning, coming home at night, and getting a crap meal on the table just to make sure that someone's got food in the belly. Because in amongst all of this as well is the proper healthy food is being priced out of the realms of availability to certain families. And don't get me wrong, you can eat healthily for a little bit of money, but sadly, there are a lot of people who don't have the skills, they don't have the time to prepare these sort of meals. And yeah, kids don't also like them very much. So, on top of all of the other commitments you have and the other struggles that you've got, is trying to get your children into the habit of eating healthily is not always on the front of their minds, because they've got so many other things that are a stress and a struggle and a strain, so they don't want to then add more stress and struggles and strains to their life to parent in a way that isn't easy. So sometimes it's the easy way just to let kids eat what they want to eat, because it's just another stress removed from your ever increasingly stressful life. But no, I suppose, like I say, this is just an opinion from someone who lives in the UK and sees and is fully aware of the struggles that people have. And the downside is that we had a conservative government for a long time, and people were that sick of the situation that they voted a potentially worse situation in control. And very, very quickly, like I say, it's turning out that it's getting to the point where it could very well be, and in certain situations it is, illegal to complain. So it is a case of now you could be a criminal, an actual criminal, and get out of prison early, Operation Early Doors and all that. But if you're a British working class person who feels that you're struggling to keep afloat, then fuck me, don't complain about it, because you could find yourself in prison for it. And that is wrong. If you don't see any more videos from me, you'll know that I've been arrested and incarcerated, and I will be most likely in a shower somewhere. I'll catch you all in a live very soon.